Welcome back. And top on the brief this morning, the Defense Headquarters has confirmed the emergence of a new terror group known as Lukarawas in the northwestern states of Sokoto and Kebbi. Addressing a news conference in Abuja on Thursday, the Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, says the new group is aggravating insecurity in the northwest region, but he assures that the armed forces are containing them. The military also declared 9 terrorists wanted for their roles in the security challenges plaguing the country.
Troops are confronted with a new terrorist sect in the northwest. This sect is known as Lakurawa. The Lakurawas are affiliated to terrorists from the Sahel, particularly from Mali and Niger republics. They began incursion into northwestern part of Nigeria, namely Sokoto and Kebbi states. And like I mentioned, they came in from Niger and the Mali axis. Now, why are we seeing this at this time? This came as a result of the coup that took place in Niger Republic. Winning this war without the support of the people is close to impossible. When those people came in, the citizens welcomed them. They did not report them. They thought they were saints. Until they now had a grip of them and started doing funny things with them.
Now, the presidency has insisted that the compressed natural gas initiative is a safer and more affordable alternative to petrol. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, posted on his X handle to allay fears among Nigerians following a report that the Malaysian government is planning to phase out natural gas-powered vehicles by July 2025. In his post, Mr. Ononuga clarified that the Malaysian issue speaks more to the safety of LPG, not safety of CNG, and he says Malaysia's transition away from costly, dirtier petrol and diesel was unsuccessful, like that of India, China, Iran, and Egypt. Away from that, the federal government says it appreciates the endurance of Nigerians on the side effects of its economic reforms, which, according to the federal government, have started yielding results. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, stated this during an interactive session with the Senate Committee on Finance. According to Mr. Edun, teething problems from the reforms are over for Nigerians, as positive indicators for better days are already emerging. The Transmission Company of Nigeria has identified a sudden rise in frequency from 50.33 Hz to 51.44 Hz as the cause of the latest national grid collapse. A statement by TCN spokesperson, Mr. Ndidimba, notes that disturbances at the grid a second in the space of 3 days started at approximately 11:29 a.m. on Thursday morning, and recovery efforts began immediately, which led to the restoration of the Abuja axis. The TCN further disclosed that the frequency spike was caused by issues encountered at a substation which had to be shut down to prevent further complications, and noted that it is actively engaged in significant repair work on several critical transmission lines and substations. And now to politics. Ahead of the Ondo State governorship election, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is urging political parties and their candidates to honor the peace accord slated for Friday, November 8. Professor Yakubu made the call in Akure during a stakeholder meeting 9 days to the election. He also urged political stakeholders to abide by the rules and regulations of the peace accord. And in business, the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has denied dealing with adulterated petrol. In a statement by the NNPCL's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Mr. Olufemi Shoneye, he says the NNPCL adheres to rigorous standards and quality control measures at every stage in its operations to ensure that only high-quality, safe and reliable petroleum products are available at its stations nationwide. And on the foreign scene, the Iranian government has described Donald Trump's victory in the U.S. presidential election as an opportunity for the United States to reassess its past wrong policies. Mr. Trump, who is set to return to the White House in January after defeating U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris in Tuesday's election, had pursued a maximum pressure strategy on Iran during his first term. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, Ismail Baghei, notes that the Asian country have had bitter experiences with the policies and approaches of different U.S. governments in the past. And Nigeria and Galatasaray striker Victor Osimhen scored a brace in the Turkish side's 3-2 win in the Europa League over Tottenham Hotspur. Osimhen, whose second goal proved to be the decisive strike, continued his scintillating form for the Turkish Super Lig leaders. And that's it on Top Stories this morning. But what are you saying about some of the big stories? Is it about the grid collapsing again the second time in 3 days? Or is it about the efforts of the federal government to improve the economy with the sale of crude oil in Naira? Or what about the other stories coming through also about CNG, of course, which will form part of our conversation this morning? Those very real worries and efforts of the federal government, of course, to allay those fears, particularly through the Presidential Committee on CNG initiative. Let's have your thoughts.